I talk a lot about trap games during the course of my saves. And if there was ever a trap game, it is today. With the win, we not only qualify for Champions League football, we qualify for the group stages. With the loss, we're still in European football, but it's possible we could fall to the second qualifying round of the European Cup. Our opponent today is in 19th place, and if they win, they avoid relegation. So yeah, classic trap game. My name's FM19, and this is the Ritornu Gloria with FC Bastia, episode 48. Well, as you can see, we're currently in 6th place on 64 points, tied with Lens. If we win, we go to 67 points. That puts us ahead of Lyon and Nice, assuming they both lose, which I don't think is going to happen. Guingsamps is down in 19th place. If they win, they go to 32 points, and chances are they avoid relegation. So yeah, classic trap game. How did we get here? After the win at Nantes and the draw at Lyon, we were away at Amiens and we won thanks to a brace of Queensy goals and a Lyle Foster goal. We were then home against Lens and we won 1-0 thanks to a Lyle Foster goal in the 83rd minute. We were then away at Havre and we won 2-0, but it probably should have been 5-0. We had 4 woodwork hits that game, 3 of which were absolute bangers. Grant Marshman had a brace of goals, which was enough to see us through. The very nice thing I like about this little short run of games, they were all shutouts. The defense really stepped it up. And if you go back to, middle of January, the only game we've lost was at Lorient. If you go back to the stats, Foster 18 goals, Frank a 7.18 rating, Queensy 7 assists, but our defense has really locked it down. Our 41 goals allowed are the 5th best in the league, which is just absolutely amazing. I would have thought at the beginning of the season we would be where Guingsamps is now, fighting relegation. The fact that we're in 6th place and could possibly qualify for Champions League football is freaking amazing. So, I'm going to set the best 11, we're going to check the reserves, and we're going to come back for the game against Guingsamps in just a bit. Well, this isn't our best team on the field today, but it's our healthiest. Bazamble in goal, Brigado, Mabai, Diakite, and Sasha as the defensive back four, Soldevia as the defensive midfielder behind Parent Marshman, Frank and No as the attacking midfielders, and Foster up top as the striker. Queensy pulled a groin muscle. He's about at 78%, so I can bring him on in the second half if I really need to. I'm hoping I don't. Bernade, 3 yellow cards in 10 games, I think. Let me check that real quick. Yep, 3 yellow cards in 10 games, so Parent is on for him. 4-1-4-1. Okay, we can do this. Throw in Sasha to Sotovia. Across the field to Parent. Sends it over to Brigado on the left. He crosses it in, knocked away by Benito. Goes to Marshman at the top of the box. Over to Parent. Back to Sotovia. Back to Marshman. Over to No. Tries cutting inside. Loses the ball. Marshman recovers. Sends it in. No is there. Oh, nice save by Rockoff. OM is playing Monaco. Who's Nice playing? I need latest scores, not latest event updates. Brigado on the throw into Sotovia. Back to Brigado. Long cross towards No. And he scores. Oh, what a nice goal. Oh, I can't tell if that was it had to have been a header. And he is not the best jumper on the team by any stretch of the imagination. That would probably be, well, if you take into account jumping ability and heading ability, that would be Frank. But that's the second time he's had a goal like that. Let me change this real quick. Dates. His scores is what I want. Okay, let me check this real quick. Who's Lyon playing? Lyon's playing Lille. Who's Nice playing? Nice is playing Angers. Okay. You have to root for Angers. I'm not really a fan of that. Coming up on half, we are definitely, I'm not going to say in control of this match, but it's definitely in our favor. 6 shots, 4 on target. We have had 1-on-1. We've had a decent possession advantage. Let's see if the defense can hold another clean sheet. About 65 minutes in, I am going to make a change. Soldevia is going to come off. Petulidis is going to come on. Okay, we're 75 minutes in. Still no highlights, but Marjman picked up a yellow. So we're going to get him off. Switch our formation up a little bit. Bring Knezovic on. Go to the 4-2-3-1 with the asymmetric defensive midfielder. Francis with the throw in. Carmoa loses it by off the post. Did we dodge a bullet there? Benito. Holy cow. 5 minutes left. Only 2 minutes of extra time. Rockoff sends it forward. Carmo has it, but he loses it to Petulidis, who sends it up into space, and Nadoram runs it down out to Francis on the right. Oh, his pass is intercepted. Bounces off of Frank. Brigado has it, sends it to Parent. Long pass towards Foster, who got behind the defense. Cross it, takes the shot at Rockoff instead. Corner kick in for us, but they're not going to show it. And that is the game. We win 1-0. What does that mean for us? I don't know. I can't tell if that's the updated thing or not. Nothing specific. Good grief, Wim. The one time you really fall down on the team talk is when we... Liverpool wins the double. Is that Europa League? We qualified for the Euro Cup. We relegated Guingsamps. We qualified for the Euro Cup. Holy cow. Do this now before something happens. We finished 6th in League One. It gets us 8.61 million euros. To compare that to the Premier League, which I can't type worth a darn. 6th place there gets you 34 million euros. So in that regards, League One does have a little bit of catching up to do. We qualified for European football. I'm looking at Everton here. This is how excited and screwed up I am. Final standings. PSG finished with 100 points. Marseille was 22 points behind. They finished in 2nd. Monaco 3rd. Nice 4th with 69 points. 2 points away from Champions League football. Lyon with 68 points. We finished 67th. Nantes finished just outside, but I think they qualified for 2nd qualifying round. Lorient, Guingsamps, and Angers were relegated. Will this go down to League 2? No. Let's see who's coming up. League 2. Interesting. Troyes is definitely coming up. We got the playoffs coming, so we'll have to come back and revisit that here in a little bit. My reserve team finished 10th in the National 2, which is outside of relegation. But as you can see, ESC Fruche Saint-Raphael finished 9th, and they're getting promoted to the National because every team above them is a reserve squad that cannot be promoted. So theoretically, in this league, you could finish in 10th place and get promoted. I don't know that that's a good thing per se. We'll have to find out. My under-19 teams, they were relegated out of their under-19 division last year. Unless the game does something weird and promotes them back up, we're hanging out in the wind again, which is fine because almost all of my under-19 players, which is fine because all of my under-19 players got reserve playing time, which really helped them improve, I think. I got the team practicing. I don't know why, but you know what? We're going to keep it going just because. Initial budgets. I have not looked at this. 6th place. Give me at least something in 8 digits for the transfer. Okay. Well, that's 8 digits. 15 million transfer budget, 165,000 per week. What's our current payroll? 159. That's doable. That's workable, especially considering some of the deals I got this summer, or this past summer, and this past transfer window, I should say. Foster coming in on 185,000 euros, Marjman on 200,000. Tom Field coming in at 250,000, going to 350,000. Yes, I spent money for Bazamble and Diakite. Reykjavik. Resic came in for 500,000 euros. But the best player on our team this year came in for under 200,000 euros. So there's deals out there to be found. I'm just going to scalp my tail off this summer, which means the summer transfer window is going to be even longer because I'm just not going to be clicking all the time. Queensy came in on a free. And I'm going to have some players leaving, I think. We'll get to that here in just a bit. A couple of things to note here. Sotovia is now capable of dictating the tempo of the game. This was PPR I put on him. He doesn't dive into tackles either. As a defensive midfielder, 4-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. Spanish under-21 international. He's the engine to the team. I just don't think there's any other way to put it. Plays a natural defensive deep-lying playmaker, but I tend to play more in the support role there. His technicals, they aren't the best, but they're good where they count. The 15 first touch is great. The 13 passing is nice. His technique of 15 is great. His marking and tackling have improved as the season's gone on. His heading is great. His jumping reach, not so much. His mentals are solid across the board. His physicals are solid across the board. Everything goes through this guy. And the ability to give him the dictate to the game PPR will let us... I built from the back. I played out of the defense. Lets us slow it down. Lets the wingers and the wingbacks get forward. Lets the striker fight for an advantageous position. I think this can only help us in the long run. If I'm wrong, let me know. But that's the reason I gave that to him. Now if I can just hold on to him. Well, I just voted for League One Keeper of the Year, and oddly enough, Bazamble wasn't on it. Well, this is still good news. We got 33,000 euros for the reserve squad finishing in 10th place in the National 2. Every little bit counts. This is confusing to me. This is Josh Phillips. He's a 17-year-old forward who plays for Watford that my scout in England is looking at. He's 2.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability, and his recommendation score is a 70. It says he's currently operating at a Domino's League 2 level. He can improve a lot in the future, would be a good signing. He's interested, but they don't want to sell. It happens. This is Judd Wallace. He's a 30-year-old midfielder. He's 3-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability. He's interested in a transfer. His score is a 60, and he's operating at a decent League 1 conference level? I don't understand that. That just strikes me as odd. I saw it come through on the schedule thing that goes by, but Lionel Messi announced he's retiring. They'll make big announcements under here. I think what we're going to do is go all the way to the 1st of June. That's when the restricted transfer window closes. We just don't have the money to make any transfers, really. I got a bunch of youth players who are eligible for contracts coming up, and they're just not good enough. So I'm going to let them go, and I have to have money in the bank to do that. Okay, this makes no sense to me. Lyon just won the French Cup. They got all the way to the first knockout round of the Champions League, and they were knocked out by Atletico Madrid. They lost in the Coup de League semifinals to Marseille. They finished 5th. They qualified for European football. And they just fired their coach. Players inducted into the best 11. Aaron Bazamble averaged a 7.09 rating over 42 appearances. Antoine Bernat and Andre Soldeville were the other players selected. Gresha Angelini is playing for Stade Rennais, but he's really not playing for Stade Rennais. Rafael Mina Dumont for Santini, FC Basel. Vincent Bezecourt. End of season awards. Frank. That's interesting. Fan player of the season. I would have thought it would have been Foster or No. No came in at 26%, second place. Goal this season, Brigado against Angers. Let's check this out. I don't remember this off the top of my head. Brigado. Okay. That was the one goal we got to break up the clean sheet against Angers. I don't know. I thought there were better goals this season. That could be just me, though. Signing of the season, Bazambe, for sure. Young player of the season, Franks. Last year, he's eligible for it. He's 24. Season review. Absolutely fantastic. Match of the season, the 4-2 against Bordeaux. I don't know. We had a couple of games that were as good as that. Moment to forget. Against PSG early in the season. It was like the third game we played. They thumped us 5-0. Team of 2018, where are they now? Playing with lower league teams. Sofiane Boris Bell retired. Kerbache has retired. Macameri retired. Christophe Vincent retired. Although he wants to be an assistant coach, but he's not with stats like that. Anyone else? Santelli wants to be a general manager, but no. Ludovic Jeunesse retired. Prakash Kadaze, he also retired. Squad dynamics, we're doing well. Whether or not it remains this way after the offseason is up in the air. End of season team meeting. We're going to under-promise and over-deliver. Mid-table finish. Yes. That's got to be it. Conference review. The club absolutely loves me, and why shouldn't they? Season injury report. Longest spell. Tommy Bastiani, 5 weeks. Diallo had a 4-week sports hernia. Leroy was out 4 weeks with a calf strain. Tell was out with a broken lower leg for 4 weeks. Queensy was out for 4 weeks with a groin strain. Nothing serious this year of the 6 to 9 month variety. Looks like 4 and 5 weeks was the longest. We need all the practice we can get. Preseason start date is going to be the 24th. Now, if Lyon come after me for an interview, I'm going to be really surprised. I only had 3 interview offers this year. They were both from League One. Well, both. They were all 3 from League One teams. No foreign interest at all. Let me see if I can't start another coaching course this year, too. I think I'm up to my Continental A. I'll have to take a look here just a second. Now, looking at the team, there's a decent amount going on. We'll do a review here real quick. The one thing I do like is that we didn't really rely on one player for all of our goals. Yes, Foster had 18, but Frank had 12, Armand had 11, Grant Marshman had 5, Queensy had 9, even Frank Yellow had 3, Bernade had 5. It was an all-around team effort, and I really think that's what saw us through this year. If we sort by goals, and then Jackie Valera was out on loan, so you can't take him into account. Maxence Pierre was on the youth squad and things. You know what? Maybe I can. Filter U19. Of course, everybody's left on vacation, so if I go unavailable, they're all going to disappear. So as you can see, Lyle did lead the way. 18 goals, 5 assists, 2 players of the match. Frank, 12 goals, 5 assists, 4 players of the match. Armand, 11 goals, 5 assists, 2 players of the match. Queensy, 9 goals, 7 assists, a player of the match. Maxence, youth player. Grant Marshman, 5 goals, 2 players of the match. Antoine Bernade, 5 goals, 5 assists, 4 players of the match. Absolute rock in the midfield. Frank, 3 goals, 2 assists. Jean-Marc Parent, 2 goals. Manuel Brigado, 1 goal, 7 assists, 2 players of the match. Tom Field came in, was a solid substitute for him. Andre Soldevilla, no goals, 1 assist, 1 player of the match, but he's not a scorer. He's a distributor. Ante Knezovic kind of fell off because I wasn't playing the attacking midfielder all that much this year. 3 assists, no players of the match. Bazamble, 42 games played, 1 player of the match. That was early on in the season. Safo Mabaye, 3 assists in 38 games. Bafore Diakite, solid on the defensive back line. Sasha, 5 assists, 2 players of the match. Savkija Resik, 2 assists, 2 players of the match. He came off the bench a lot, but he was also a solid contributor. If I sort by appearances, Like we mentioned earlier with the injuries, not a lot of missed time. Some guys lost time due to rotation and that, Parent being one of them. So if we look at average rating, Emmanuel leads the way, 7.17, tied with Frank on a 7.17. No, a 7.14. Lyle Foster, 7.11. Almost all of our starters were 7.0 or better, which is absolutely fabulous. Contract-wise, Jordan Tell is leaving, Mathis Leroy is leaving, Thomas Callens is going to be leaving. Frank has interest from teams in Italy. I don't know if I'm going to let him go. Frank Diallo, I want to move. I've lost my faith in him. He has absolutely just been... He did it again this year. He asked for a new contract last season. I gave him one, and he refused it. He wanted a new contract this year. He did the same thing again. I transfer listed him. The board freaked out. Not the board. My coaches and everybody freaked out. I was like, why are you transfer listing him? He's a key member of the squad. And he's not anymore. 2-star current ability, 2.5-star potential ability, 22 years old. He is, at best, a backup for us. And I'm not going to carry him. Anybody else possibly leaving? Other teams chasing after my younger players again. It's possible Safo Mabai is going to be leaving. It depends on what happens in the offseason. I want to start getting Cristiano, not Ronaldo, and totally blanking on his name now. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. I've got a couple good young defensive center backs that I'd like to get more playing time. Cristiano being one of them. Joaquin Medina, that's the other one. He needs some playing time as well. So if Mabaya leaves, one of those two guys will fill in and get a nice rotation going. At least that's the plan. Depends on who is out there as well. We're going to have to take a really hard look at the squad. Especially with us playing European football, we're going to need a lot more depth. Especially at some key positions. So it's going to be a hard summer ahead of us, that's for sure. This is interesting. AC Milan wants to interview me. No. Sorry. French football is my bread and butter. Well, the season is officially over. Nantes also qualified for European football. Lorient, Guingsamps, and Angers are going down. Lorient lost in the playoffs. In League 2... Well, they're still playing. I could have sworn the season was over. I guess not. Well, you know what? We're going to check something out here real quick. PSG won the Champions League. They beat Man United. It's the third year in a row they've won it. Go them. You know what? In the Premier League, let's see. I usually don't check out other divisions, but why not? Man City beat Liverpool by 2 points. Huddersfield, Southampton, and Swansea. Going down, which must mean... Oh, Crystal Palace won the playoffs. They're back in the Prem. Well done, Palace. I am a Palace fan. Don't ask me to explain why. I just am. I think that is going to wrap that up for this season. It was a season beyond expectations. There's no doubt about that. On the other hand, the promises we made to Bafore Diakite and Lyle Foster were met. Told them we'd finish top half in 3 years in order to get them to sign. So well done us. Don't have to worry about that. Now we just have to worry about being relegated next season. So it's going to be busy. It's going to be interesting. Next time we come back, should be a transfer window roundup and a look at the squad. Maybe a live comm. We'll have to wait and see. If you liked what you've seen and heard, please leave a like. Subscribe to the channel for more content. Questions, criticisms, comments, leave those down below. I'll answer them as fast as I can. My name's FM19, and you've been watching The Return of Gloria with SC Bastia, episode 48.